So with our gorgeous Miss J, we were just discussing a little bit with some resource guarding tips and information earlier. The other option you guys can do too is, as I mentioned it very slightly in the previous video, is kind of working on your station training and then practice that taking turns while they're near each other can be helpful. If you're on your own, I'd recommend that there's layers of safety to that. So if we're already dealing with a dog that has some difficulties with certain dynamics, is we want to prevent the rehearsal of the behavior in the first place. So how's that taste? Delicious? So as our girl is practicing, we would want to make sure that, let's say I know Mr. B loves going to his place behavior and working that stay. We may find for her, maybe she's got a target that she prefers. Maybe there's a pillow or a couch or whatever. I'd make it though where if you both are home, so each family member could have a puppy to work with, you could start practicing where while she's on one of her targets and he is on another, you could practice taking turns. And what I mean by that is even if like one of you was the one holding one babe or there was one tethered, you'd want to have them while they're working their place or relaxation or hanging out or even chewing on something, is to then go and you'd feed one babe for holding back and hanging out, and you could feed the other one for hanging out as well in the same zone, but in different spaces. So, and then this way, ready, cuteness? You want to do a little find it? So this way, you could start to build up value that when you're near your sibling, you can still feel safe while working a sort of bubble. We do want to avoid having them feel trapped or overwhelmed. So if, let's say we were working, I know she's a little winded, we did a little bit with that flirt pull a few moments ago. So, and there is a bowl of water, so if she needs a drink, she can have one. But if your babes are, for example, thinking places you're in trouble, you're getting in my way and I'm annoyed, or you're now having to go there while something hard is happening, then that's a great way to ruin your place behavior as something safe and comfortable, but also a great way to almost sort of by accident create negative associations. We want to, for example, nice job, my cutie, is ready? You want to go find it? We want them to start thinking that being near each other could be, let's do this skill instead, as opposed to not knowing what to do near each other. Ready? So we might try to bring her back up onto her little cot. Ready? You want to do a little find it? She's like, lady, I'm so pooped out. So we'll see if she's interested. For her, if she prefers more like a soft dog bed or something like that as a target, don't feel she has to use the cot. I know Mr. B does enjoy his dog bed. So this could be something where too, as we're practicing, like maybe next week, I'll try and work this a bit with them. I know you just mentioned some of these topics today a little bit more in depth. So I'm going to work a little bit with some of these behavior. You're going to go under. Nice downward facing dog. So she's doing some great yoga. So let's say, for example, we're going to start working on the skills separately for now, and then we'd include maybe 2 dog cots. And I do have the option for a little tether over here where I could tether, for example, my lovely lady, but I want to make sure that tethering doesn't equal more anxiety. So tethering can be used inappropriately, just like crates can be used very inappropriately. And what I mean by that is the dog is struggling, we throw them in the crate, we lock the door, we walk away, and they have a panic attack and melt while stuck inside, for example, a cage. So all of my dogs are crate trained because I want them to feel safe and relaxed while traveling in my car in their crate. If, let's say, for example, there's an emergency and they have an injury and they have to be confined in a crate at the vet's office, it's not one more stressor on top of already being a stressful sort of dynamic. So what we'll end up doing is we're going to work a little bit with some of this targeting here and then see if we can start to implement this a little bit next week with both of the beauties. And maybe we'll do together videos as well so you can see the dynamic between the two, but also ways that I would do it that helps both stay safe while implementing some of these tasks. So ready, Jojo? She's like, lady, I'm so tired. If you're not a huge fan of this bad boy, don't worry. So if, let's say, the target for her is not a dog cot, but a blanket, use whatever seems comfortable from her end. She may have to sneak out for another little potty break. So maybe what I'll do is I'll sneak her out and then I'm going to come back and then we're going to continue working a bit with our target. But I'm going to see if I can maybe bring out a blanket and see if she prefers that versus the raised cot. And then we'll try and work a bit with sort of this concept of going to our space, building up value and being stationary, and then start to implement it later next week with her brother as well. So we're just going to take a little pause. I'm going to bring her out for a quick potty, and then we'll continue with this one where we left off.